So, you're coming to dinner and a fight. That took some courage to sign up. This short video is designed to help you make the most of your time and to give you some expectations. And we hope that this turns out to be, a somewhat pivotal experience for you. From one point of view, this is all part of the American experiment because we are rediscovering, remembering, putting together, and reinventing us, we the people. One thing for sure, if you've signed up and all of the other people that have signed up, the one thing we all have in common is that we care about America. So let's start with that common ground, dinner and a fight. So it's really just an opportunity for us to be together, Americans re-engaging. The dialogue part of dinner and a fight was created, invented, developed at Arizona State University, starting all the way back in 2004. So there's plenty of history behind that method that we're using. Sometimes I like to call it the 5-chair method. We conceived of this combination, dinner and a fight, because we thought it was clever and inviting. And it turns out that it's kind of a great combination. It's a method for everyday Americans to engage with each other. And there aren't a lot of opportunities to do that and to walk away feeling better than when you started. Number one, democracy is rooted in disagreement. That was not obvious to me prior to engaging in this sort of work. As it turns out, conflict, well used, is like awesome because it moves us forward. And democracy thrives on disagreement and conflict. Healthy disagreement and conflict. The thing is, I'm not very good at it. You may not be very good at it. As a country, we're not very good at it, which brings us to expectation number 2. You can expect this to be clumsy, and we have to cut ourselves some slack that we're going to be clumsy because we're going to be working on some new skills, exposing ourselves to new tools. This is going to feel a little bit awkward. Let's try to remember. Maybe we'll have to remind ourselves. Everyone in the room for dinner and a fight is there because they care about America. So we always have that as a common foundation. By the way, we're on a construction site here for this bridge, and you'll hear the noise once in a while. It's all part of being clumsy. The third expectation is that this stuff is complex. We're going to raise an issue that is purposefully complex. We have this ancient metaphor of people falling into a dark pit, no moon, and they're feeling their way around to see what they're up against. Just so happens there's an elephant in the pit. One feels the tail and says, I think there's a rope here. Another feels the leg and says, there's a trunk of a tree here. And another feels the trunk and says, it's a snake. Things are complex, and we only have so much viewpoint, so much bandwidth in today's language. Consider you're in a library. Obviously, we cannot all be experts in a complete library, but we might be experts on a certain shelf or a certain section. One of the skills in a library or with a person in any group is take me to another bookshelf. Take me to your bookshelf, because we've all come with years or decades of life experience. And of course, the rubber meets the road with street smarts, but we're all, as Americans, paying attention to what's going on. A fourth sort of expectation is to realize that we all live in what we call this 3 branches of government. Even locally, we have an executive, not a president, but a mayor. Locally, we have a legislature, a city council typically, which is similar to a Congress or a Senate that we have, federally. And we have local judges. And at the federal level, we have federal judges, and all the way up to the Supreme Court. On those 3 branches of government, we have those resting on a foundation of we the people, involved we the people. And underneath that, sometimes we talk about the pillars of society. So things like our family structures, the people that we live with and eat with, our education system, virtue, and then we have other pillars. Perhaps you have your favorite pillar. So yes, we're all Americans, and we seem to be in this perfect storm or what we're going to call 100-year storm. And what we find is that all of these areas of our government and our pillars are affected by this perfect 100-year storm. Our debt out of control, voting irregularities, not including people in voting. This is too big to fail. That is too big and powerful. Media, social media, where they're weapons of mass destruction. We were lied to. It goes all the way back to Vietnam for some people. And so in this perfect storm, we've learned to weaponize the truth. X versus Y, A versus B, either or thinking, rarely and thinking. Let's put things together and find a solution. And then we have us, the uninvolved, we the people. And we've become uninvolved as part of this 100-year storm for a lot of different reasons. And the pillars feel like they're crumbling. The family structure, the education structure, our virtues. It's all true, right? So we're just recapping this to say you came for a reason, and it was a darn good reason, because we need you and we need each other. So about every 100 years, this happens. The first time it happened was 1776. Second time, if we talk to people who read their history or sociology, political science, the second time was the Civil War. The third time was what's called the Gilded Age, which was like the 1910s coming out into the 1920s, where there was such wealth in pockets. And then we have today, the fourth time that people talk about the reinventing, rediscovery, remembering of we the people. Now that's kind of a great way to think about it, because we can stop blaming and start working together, because a 100-year storm happens now and then, because we're human. But here's the thing about we the people. We want to be involved. Many of us are in pain from broken relationships due to politics. Many people have shared with me that this is like walking in a minefield. Why would I want to talk about politics? Some of us feel this catch-22 of, can't I love my country and love my neighbor? Finally, recently, there's a survey by some folks called More in Common. They measured the exhausted electorate at 77%. How do exhausted people participate in a democracy? We don't. The good news is that we may be actually in enough pain now to make some changes, which is one of the things that brings us together into the room for dinner and a fight. The most powerful thing to help people overcome their biases and tackle wicked problems is genuine conversation with people they respect. And we have to laugh because we knew that, right? We know that. We know that having respectful, challenging conversations about disagreements with people is like energizing, great way for us to learn and be we the people. So this is why we come together for dinner and a fight. And it's all about civil dialogue with these 5 chairs. Strongly agree, neutral or undecided, disagree, and strongly disagree. After dinner, we will be introduced to a divisive topic, and 5 volunteers will be asked from the audience to take these 5 chairs. And the audience gets to participate also. And there will be civil dialogue. Martin Luther King was right. He was just awesome. And this quote is like, super powerful. We may have come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. Or we're in the same 5 chairs now. So the last expectation you can have is expect to step foot on a path. It's not the path that's going to save America, but it is a path that will be helpful. It's also not going to be an answer to that divisive topic, but it is going to be a lot of learning about that divisive topic and a lot of learning about how we can dialogue about differences and have that skill of conflict and disagreeing in a productive way. It's such a big, perfect 100-year storm, but it's also opportunity.